Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
I think government should be there to help the people and the public. You know, they're there to serve the public. Let's work together. You know, I wanted to fight this because I want to fight for what is right. Like I said, it's totally unfair. But having said that, I want to do what's right as far as making sure the public is safe. So that's why I said, okay, I will comply with this. I will hope they will reconsider this order and reconsider it like right away, like as soon as possible.
My thought is if people don't start standing up for our freedoms and our rights, and we don't start supporting these small businesses, we're going to be in a lot of trouble very soon.
Recently, BC slapped many small and medium business owners in the face with sweeping restrictions that affect places like restaurants. We're going to talk to one of the first to openly defy the order in order to save his small business and stand up for others who want to do the same. Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News. I'm standing in Olympic Village in Vancouver in front of Gusto, a taste of Italy. Now, this is a 2-year-old business. Imagine that. You put your heart and soul into a vision, and a year later you get smacked with COVID. We all understood just a couple of weeks, let's give it a try, let's shut down. But here we are a year later. And Dr. Bonnie Henry recently announced that for 3 weeks, we're supposed to hold our breath on that, businesses like Gusto's are not allowed to have in-person dining. However, right across the street, you can see lineups outside Tap and Barrel. Everybody has to enter into the restaurant on their way out to a patio. So enough is enough for some business owners like Federico. We're going to talk to him about his stand. We're also going to talk about, so far, the consequences he's had. Not only was he served with an order to close, he was also served with a notice that his license is temporarily suspended. So we're going to go speak to him about why it is important for him to take this stand, and you're going to come along with us. All right, Federico, we've been standing here waiting. We saw a lot of people coming to the door wanting to get some nice pastries and coffee, but we see with all the notices you're closed. Tell us what's happened.
So at 1 a.m. in the morning, I guess the city inspector came here to Gusto, and you could see right there with duct tape, I'm fighting for what's right. This thing was done without any consultation. We were blindsided. As I keep mentioning, the wineries allowed indoor tasting. All we ask is for consultation. Let's sit down. Let's discuss this. We're all doing what is right. We're all followed the protocols of the last order prior to this one, you know, where restaurants lost a lot of seating indoors. And then we get this order on last Monday at 1 p.m., no more indoor dining starting at midnight of that same day. So it's crazy. If you're gonna do an order, make it a blanket policy that covers everybody, including Walmart, Costco, liquor stores, all the TransLink things. I mean, it's nuts. Like, I mean, I don't understand how they can do this just to us.
Now, what about your staff? How are they coping with the uncertainty right now?
Well, they feel the trepidation, and they're nervous because they have to work and they have to provide food for their families, put food on the table. You know, they don't know if they'll still have a job after all this is said and done. And, you know, for them, it's not fair. It's not fair to the employees and what these measures are doing to people. And, you know, this is going to kill a lot of small business. And we've all, like I said, we've all done the major protocols, like the plexiglass dividers. And, you know, I know restaurants have spent thousands on that. We've all done it. In fact, I want to make a point. I think one of the safest places to be is in a restaurant. And the reason why is because it's controlled. It's controlled. The seating, like the tables 2 meters apart, all the hand sanitizing stations, all the sanitizing that we do, like on the tables, on the chairs, all over the place, at the door handles. I mean, it's a controlled environment. So, and then for me indoors, I have like the HVAC and makeup air system, so there's constant circulation of air. So, you know, the masks are being worn on my employees. Like, what else are we supposed to do? You know, why aren't they saying anything about outbreaks at all these big box stores? You know, the small business is being killed here. We're dying a slow death. And, you know, a lot of restaurateurs are hanging by a thread. You know, for me, my seating went down from 40 to 10. But there are a lot of restaurants that could put more than 100 people in the restaurant. And they're down significantly, but they put all the dividers, they put everything, and they don't have the luxury of having a patio outdoors. So what do? What do these businesses do? Another thing I want to bring attention to is these outdoor patios that are completely enclosed, even with a roof. What's the difference between that and indoor dining? So it's the discrepancies that I'm fighting against. That's why.
Now, one of the gentlemen we interviewed outside of here, he said, well, why didn't you just ask the city for more patio space and just do it like that?
Like where? There's a sidewalk and there's a street here. Where am I supposed to put it? Yeah. You know, I mean, I already have theft of some of my patio furniture already. Where am I going to put it? Out there, and so more people can steal it? Number one. Number two, again, it's for the whole industry that can't put a patio outside. They don't have that luxury. They don't have an option. And then when the weather's raining, like last Sunday when it was blustery and raining, how could you be outdoors? I don't want to be outdoors. Even today was almost a record cold day. I mean, this morning it was almost a record cold. So what do? I mean, people, when they talk like that, they don't realize what small business goes through. They have no idea. This is a tough business at the best of times, let alone during these times.
Last question. It seems like maybe they're making a martyr out of you. Right away, you were ordered to close, and now you have a business license being revoked. Suspended. How prepared are you to continue this fight?
Well, look, I mean, the main thing is, I said I will comply with this, and that's what I'm doing. I will comply with this order for the time being, and I will continue to fight for what is right. But the way they did this expeditiously is really shocking to me. And again, I think government should be there to help the people and the public. You know, they're there to serve the public. Let's work together. You know, I wanted to fight this because I want to fight for what is right. Like I said, it's totally unfair. But having said that, I want to do what's right as far as making sure the public is safe. So that's why I said, okay, I will comply with this. I will hope they will reconsider this order and reconsider it like right away, like as soon as possible. There are restaurants that lost thousands in inventory this past week because we were blindsided. It's not fair. It's not fair to the industry. It's not fair to them. And again, we weren't given any proof or any science of this. You know, just come and talk to us. Let us know. Yeah. Reveal that. You know, and let's all work together. If we really want to curb this, then make it a blanket policy. Restrict all the other businesses then, if that's the case. You know, but don't just target us. And that's the way we feel. We feel like we're being targeted without any warning.
The staff are just, we don't know. Okay. So you closed right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk, if he's here, we'll come talk to.
Well, you come in for a second.
Okay, yeah.
Normally we get invited into these types of things, but I'll wait outside. Hi guys. Can I ask you a couple questions about what today's visit is for?
Unfortunately, no, because we have to divert you guys to our media unit, so.
Oh, nothing for the public who's just going to want to know?
We can't say anything, unfortunately.
Okay.
More than welcome to get in contact with the media relation.
Okay, that takes time.
It does, yeah. Sorry. Unfortunately, that's the only way.
Yeah.
Policy. It is what it is.
All right. We're just walking by Gusto's. Tell us what your opinion is about the closure.
Well, I live here, and I've lived here for 11 years. And the closure, I thought Federico was pushing his luck. Instead of playing the fighting against COVID and siding with the COVID deniers and not wearing a mask, and fighting the whole shutdown. He could have asked the city for some more space out here where where the cars are, just like Tap and Barrel, like Urban Fair down there. They got a little outdoor. They've taken up parking spots, so he could have done that than being fighting it.
Well, let's talk about Tap and Barrel for a second. So you're right, they have people going out on their patio there.
Yeah, well, that's what the name of the game is.
Right, but as my cameraman Matt pointed out, everybody has to walk through the restaurant. Every single person who sits on that patio goes into the restaurant, checks out, walks through the restaurant, and then sits at the patio. Do you think there's a whole lot of difference between that and what Gusto was doing?
Yeah, big difference, because they're not sitting around. We're talking about exposure.
Right, they all go through the restaurant.
Yeah, but they're only in there for like what, a minute, 2 minutes?
I don't know. We'll have to check it out.
See the door. There's a door there, and there's the exit over there. So they just walk through.
And
so
what
they're not inside. They're outside.
Okay. What's your opinion on the fact that, for example, Gusto has to be shut for in-person dining, but you can do in-person wine tasting, and Dr. Bonnie Henry does own, or she's part owner of a winery. Do you think that's fair?
Oh, I don't know anything about that. No, I wouldn't. If it's outside.
In person. So you're allowed in-person wine testing.
Outside?
Tasting.
Inside?
In-person wine tasting.
Well, I have no idea what that's about. That's another issue altogether.
Okay.
I don't even know what that is. I mean, they have the Legacy Liquor Store over here, but they're not letting people come in there and do wine tasting because they have a wine tasting section there.
Well, it's allowed in British Columbia. It's not against the public health orders. Do you find any discrepancy there, or you think that makes sense?
There would be a discrepancy, but I'm saying as far as Federico goes, you just have to look at Urban Fair, what they did with their parking spots outside in front of their store.
And so what about the businesses that say we can't survive another 3 weeks if 3 weeks means a shutdown? Do you think they have any grounds to start on or to stand on there?
No, they have to learn how to pivot. They have to be creative and go on the streets, anything outdoor. If they can use street parking and use it up from ask the city for a permit to do what Urban Fair is doing,
which takes time to get.
Well, then they should get. This has been going on for a year.
Exactly.
Come on, we're not talking about something that just all of a sudden happens. We've been leading up to this.
Can we get your guys' opinion on the closure?
No. Maybe not.
No?
I mean, it's tricky. I kind of understand where they're coming from, but on the other side, this is a serious issue, and if we don't do our part. So I would expect either the federal government or the provincial government to subsidize these people, because they are kind of the ones that are suffering for all of us. So we benefit from them closing, but they need to get some money out of that. So then I think that they will be fair. Now asking them to close where the big business keep making money, and people are still here, I don't think that is fair. So if they can get subsidy, they can get the employees the unemployment while they are out, then it's fine. We need to do this. Otherwise, this will never end if people don't understand that better shut off everything. Let's get to COVID-0 if possible. But the people that are sacrificing for the benefit of everybody else should be compensated. And I don't know if they do or not. But if they don't, give them some money. Otherwise, it's not fair.
My thought is if people don't start standing up for our freedoms and our rights, and we don't start supporting these small businesses, we're going to be in a lot of trouble very soon.
I definitely believe that outside the risk, I'm a scientist by background, so I kind of talk about things that I know. Outside, I'm not that concerned, and I think that BC Health is, everybody's on the same thing. I am concerned about too many people indoors. So at the end, these people are paying for the fact that the public is not really following the regulations or the orders, because you're not supposed to be more than 6 people that in the same household. There's no way that these people are 6 people from the same household. But again, they are outside, so the risk of getting COVID is lower.
Now, we were looking at Tap and Barrel over there, and basically everybody lines up, then goes into the restaurant. Every single person then goes through the restaurant and then sits down. What's your thoughts on that? How much different is that compared to this?
I don't understand the logic to any of this,
Well, there is
quite
no
frankly.
logic.
There's no
There is
logic.
no logic. And people who are buying into all of this need to start asking the question, why is it I can go to London Drugs over here and there's 200 people in there and everything seems to be fine because we're wearing masks? But it's not fine to do that at a little place like this. Does that make any sense to you? No, you're not allowed to say, are you?
I can say whatever I want. There is some science to be said that a smaller closed area is more likely to have it compared to outdoors when you look at the studies.
Compared to outdoors, but you know,
Costco ain't outdoors.
where I live in Coquitlam, and I go to a drugstore there, not London Drugs, another drugstore chain. Right by the door it says COVID-19 capacity 256. Yet the church I go to down the street, which is 10 times larger than that drugstore, they won't even let them put 50 people in the building.
Yeah.
There's so much hypocrisy. There's so much,
There's too
none of
much-
this makes sense.
Federico and his family have a lot to consider, and Rebel News will keep you updated on their journey. If you are a small or medium business owner who wants to open up in Defiance or needs to open up in Defiance just to keep afloat, please go to iwillopen.ca. We will stand with you as you tell your story to the world.